Yeah,
Hi Matt, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm all right, my friend. I'm all right.
Good. So we just had a pre interview discussion, and we found out we're from very similar places. So that's cool. We're both from Wales, although I live in
Yeah,
Florida
we're here.
now. Yeah, beautiful out there.
There you go, brother.
Yeah. So, would you like to give a brief intro about who you are, what your project is, and I'll ask some questions and stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, Matt, for inviting me.
No worries.
Okay, so the project is called the Seratio ICO. So
Hmm.
that's Seratio,
Yes.
and we are a token that represents cryptocurrencies with values. So
Hmm.
basically, it's not just a regular financial token. It has two kind of tokens. One is a financial token based in Ethereum, like all the other ETH stuff.
Hmm.
It also has a second token called a microshare that actually represents non-financial value.
Okay.
We are an
Where is that, by
organization.
the way, if you don't mind me asking? Where is that
Sorry, we
token
are based
stored?
in the UK.
No, I mean, where
And
is the token, the microshare? Where's that stored?
okay, so the whole thing is based on a public platform blockchain. It's
Okay.
now already on Etherscan.
Hmm.
All right, and we already have a trading on Ether Delta. We actually go live in about 3 months' time in terms of trading platform.
Hmm.
We've been going. We're not a new organization. We're Citizenship, Enterprise and Governance
Hmm.
(CCEG.org.uk). We're British, and we've been going since 2011. We're fairly strong. We have about 125 academics, about 50 odd analysts, and around 30 in blockchain. So we're considered to be quite a large entity in the sector.
You have 13 blockchains?
30, 30. Yeah, only
Three
half
zero.
are coders.
Hmm.
The rest are not coders. So we're quite a fairly
Oh,
large entity.
I see.
We,
Okay.
we have about, we have offices in the UK, in London,
Hmm.
and in New York, where some of my colleagues are right now, working with the United Nations, and in Shanghai, and in Kochi in India. So, and our blockchain team is predominantly spread out in Brazil as well.
Okay.
So we're kind of an organization that has for 4 or 5 years now. What we do is we measure non-financial value for governments, and we do it uh, to back laws. Governments make laws to measure this stuff in tangible value. For example, they'll say companies can get a contract. If I want to build a bridge
Hmm.
from where I'm standing now to
Right.
over there, say it's $1 billion, and they'll say, well, okay, we'll give the contract to someone who delivers not just the cheapest price, but also, let's say, 20% of the contract value must be social value, what you create for the people, the environment,
Mm.
employment, etc.
Mm.
And so we do that for the laws in the UK, like the Modern Slavery Act, it's based on our metrics. The Modern Social Value Act is based on our metrics. In Europe, 5 European Commissions, Indonesia, Mauritius, uh, India, they have a 2% CSR law. And so we kind of a academic think tank that measures value. And we've been doing that quite successfully. Until
Mm.
last year, we decided, however, we wanted to not just capture value, we wanted to transact it.
Hmm.
So, Matt, I want to say $5, I love you. I want to be able to measure that love. All
Thank
right?
you very much.
So it's a pleasure. Probably more than I would pay for you, Matt, by the way. So we then looked at blockchain.
Right.
And because blockchain is effectively, of course, movement of a digital asset from A to B,
Yes.
a value asset. But in our language, we went, well, love has value. Generosity has value.
Mm.
This greenery has value, right? And we have learned how to measure it digitally.
Hmm.
We know how to digitize value. We know how to turn sentiment into financial value,
Mm.
and we know how to transact it fast. So we generally do it in under 10 seconds. We can
Mm.
measure a person's value, or a company's value, or a family value, or whatever. So
Mm.
we combined the two, and we started to move into blockchain. And now where we are is we have 35 commissions, a bit more now. However, only 9 are large, as in larger than 1 million dollars or pounds.
Mm.
So the rest are small,
Okay.
and they have led on to many altcoins, which have been now based on our stuff going forward. So the women's coin is coming out next year, and the SDG coin for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and City coin and EduCoin, education coin. That's our biggest contract, 33.5 million pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's here. So, and a whole host of other altcoins, which you can see on the website, which is Seratio-coins.world.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought this is our first ICO, because we're going to have to do quite a lot of ICOs for our partners, our commissions. It'll be theirs, but we wanted to get the experience, and we needed to build a platform. We did a proof of concept. We already had, of course, the metric side, but we wanted the blockchain side, which is new to us. We finished that in February, and we were very happy with the results of that. We wanted to raise actually about £4 million, about $5 million for this. But we've added a bit of marketing money and a bit of contingency to make £5 million raise altogether. We started our ICO on the 15th of September, our pre-ICO, I should say.
Right.
Before the pre-ICO, we had raised £1.625 million sterling in private placement. So that's not included in the ICO yet. And then in the pre-ICO, which was 2 weeks to the end of September, which was what, 4 or 5 days ago, we raised £1.75 million.
Fantastic.
Our goal was to raise 1 million in the pre-ICO.
Okay.
So we kind of went past that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of on budget and a bit beyond budget. And we are running to the end of October.
Okay.
And that's where we are.
Cool. Well, that's a really interesting and unusual project. At least as far as I'm aware, I've never heard of anything like that before. I was curious about a couple of things. One was how, well, can you say anything about how you're measuring these things like, social good? I mean, love coin or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get value for that?
Okay, so obviously this is, if I carry on, this could be the most boring broadcast you've ever done. So,
well, I think people who are watching this, like me, are trying to understand what makes a token valuable, what makes the system behind it useful. So my goal is really to drill down and sort of understand what the what's the value proposition.
yeah.
With Ethereum, the tokens are valuable because you get to use them as gas essentially, and then everything else is kind of extrapolated from that. So that's sort of the direction I'm sort of heading with this.
Okay, so the theoretical framework, and I think we're an open source organization, and we are the largest and the fastest growing metric in the world, the non-financial world. And I gave a speech at the Vatican about a couple of years ago. You'll put YouTube, Olinga, Vatican, and you can bore yourself for 10 minutes to hear me what I said.
Certainly will.
But basically, and they actually called it the God metric. Can you imagine? That was like the PR from heaven, wasn't it? But effectively, it's an extension of financial theory. Okay, so financial theory is of what's called GAAP, general accounting principles, works on what something is worth, not because what it's worth to you, not what it's worth as an asset.
Right.
So it has sentiment. Hence, financial stock markets are driven by financial sentiment. Twitter, which makes no money at all, is worth billions, but your corner shop, which makes some money, and the guy can pay himself every night, is not worth the same, right?
Right.
Because it's what it's worth to the alignment to the masses. So what we did was we took the financial structure of what is best recognized as stock markets. I had a company on NASDAQ and one on LSM, on AIM, on a small one, and we extended it not to include just financial value, but non-financial value. And the reason is this: in our theoretical framework, all assets, everything has both financial and non-financial. To put it simply. So if I buy a car, I might go, I could buy whatever, something small, or I can buy a BMW, and I'm not, I'm paying exorbitant price for it, and it's doing the same function,
Right.
but it makes me feel empowered, makes me feel sexy, makes me feel whatever, right? So it makes me a great guy. So that is non-financial value.
Right.
And it can be measured because, it is an actual quantity and you're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, and other people are willing to buy it off you later for the same reason.
Right.
Yeah.
A famous artist called Tracy Ammons once said, I remember I saw her, she made something called the Unmade Bed, and it was a British artist, like, for the country you and I are from, and they said, why are you willing to pay £1 million for this unmade bed? I mean, it was literally an unmade bed, and it was Saatchi. And she went, one, because I say so, and two, because you're willing to pay for it. So if it's worth to you $1 million, it's worth $1 million.
Right.
And of course, the bed is only worth a couple $100, but the rest is worth something to you, and that's
right.
something. So we developed a theoretical framework around that, and to do it very fast,
yes.
Using big data, and then the question was blockchain. Now, blockchain can only actually contain small amounts of data. So if we consider, by the way, the name of the theoretical framework is called the social earnings ratio.
Okay.
Social earnings ratio. And there's kind of a gang full of papers and Wikipedia and stuff on it. But if I say to you a blockchain is actually financial value and non-financial value, all right? So not just the normal blockchain, which is a financial asset. There's actually two parts. The ratio of the non-financial to the financial is actually the definition of the SE ratio, the social earnings ratio.
Okay.
And it is a corollary to some financial instrument that's used all around the world, which is called a price earnings ratio, PE ratio. And if you look in every stock market, in every NASDAQ listing, you see something called the price of the stock, the yield, and then the PE ratio.
Right. And
ours is now the SE. And PE plus SE then forms total value.
Okay.
Is that boring enough?
No, it's not boring. It's interesting. I promise.
Okay. But so kind of it is unusual, and we're kind of we're I would say to you we're at the Rolls Royce end of cryptocurrency. So we're not a big ticket item. We're not going to raise hundreds of millions. We don't need hundreds of millions, but the value in what we do is the financial value. Interested in the circular economy that will come from it. So it's not only going to go up because cryptocurrencies go up, but kind of a lame argument is the fact that we have already so many commissions, like a faith coin, right? So I'm giving an impact coin.
I don't actually know faith coins, so maybe
like an Islam coin. If I say to you Islam coin, right? So I mean, if I say to you, people think coins don't have value other than financial value, but it's very simple. I say to you, Matt, I love you wearing a green top. I'm going to pay you $30,000 for it, and you will take it off and DHL it to me instantly. And I go, but Matt, I'll pay it to you in KKK coins. And you go,
I might reject that. Yeah.
I might not be accepting that stuff.
Right.
It's a bridge to my values, And secondly, I don't have any KKK friends in my community, so I wouldn't even know how to spend it. Right. So basically, we look for vibrant, transactional, interactive, cohesive communities. Hence, Women's Coin, City Coin, Educational Coin, right? Student Coin. We just signed up yesterday. So and so on. Faith coins, obviously, are that.
So in the example of Student Coin, tell me about that specifically so I can get a deeper picture. I guess I can probably apply whatever learnings I have of Student Coin across to the other coins and so on. So,
and these things are not so difficult. They're more difficult on the theoretical level, but they're not difficult to understand because the moment I say KKK coin, you understood what I meant, right? I didn't have to explain 9 yards of what it could mean.
Sometimes it's easier to understand something by its negatives rather than...
That's true. You got to take things to the extreme, right? So Student Coin is effectively students need three things. They are looking for if they want to invest in something, maybe it's just $50, $100. I was reading the other day, you put $100, 2010, 75 million now or something.
Yeah, I believe it.
So they go, wow, I could pay off my student fees, with just £50 or $100 or whatever, right? Secondly, They want it to give them benefits, just like a student has in Britain. They have something called National Union card, an NUS card. They get discounts in shops, loyalty,
Yes.
discounts, benefits. So our microshares gives them that, and of course the third layer, which is part of blockchain, the vote. It gives them a voice,
Right.
and it gives
Like
them
Dash
suddenly
or something like
at
that.
the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on Monday this week, we officially took over 2 university domain names in the UK called efficiencyexchange.ac.uk and efficiency.ac.uk. We are kind of represent a certain voice into the academic and student community.
Right.
And so we're kind of a fairly credible body, which in blockchain world is not often, I have to be honest to you. So. And we've gone, well, the students, we have a captive community here who would like to transact that way.
Right.
So that's a kind of example.
Okay, so in the case of student coin, will students be able to spend it in their university? Is that one of them?
Right. So the vision, if I had my mobile, but we're going to have to pretend I have my mobile, is that, for example, I'll give you how it could work. I could go do volunteering, right? I could do something nice. I could volunteer, be a carer or something. And I get credited on my phone, on the phone. I then go down Google Street and I go, I'll shop here, not here, because this is but Walmart and these are unethical, And these guys, however, are a smaller shop, but they're loving and they're caring and they have a higher rating on their non-financial value. I go down the street and I go into a shop and I go, I'll buy this Coke or this ice cream. This is made by happy cows in a happy field and happy children, but not from this ice cream, which is made by, modern slavery conditions, all right? So I will be using, and in the same way as a student, I can then go to this shop and say, I'm a student, and it will recognize I'm a student, blockchain, and it will actually issue me a discount, and I can even go to an extent of how many microshares I want to swap for the money. So I go to Starbucks, I go $10, I go, okay, here's $8 of cash, $2 of credit.
Okay, so that will be that. Sorry, there's a little bit of echo on my computer. I'm not sure why. So that will be the credit and so on would be awarded back because the student is spending student coin, for example.
Correct, that's right. And the retailer gets the gain. We're doing a big pilot here in the UK with a big like a Walmart size company.
Right.
And MenCap, mental health charity. They want the big company, the retailer, has lost 15% of its turnover. It's a big deal, 15%. And you can see this is live. I've got a tractor driving past. Okay.
Don't worry, I had someone was blowing leaves next door to me. So,
I guess sorry. They want are more eyeballs in the shops, and they want to bring in 7 million new carers. There are 7 million carers who are not their customers because they're high end. So they want to be able to reward you 20. They go up to 50%. If you're a great carer, they'll up. Of course, they know that vast majority are 20%. And of course, and in retail land, 20% they'll give you even if you just didn't even have a pulse. They'll give you. All right. So basically, at the till, you should be able to transact. You just like you do, on your. Forgive me on the States. I'm not so familiar with. I go there often, but I don't pay with my phone that often. But
we have Apple Pay now. Apple Pay is
Apple
quite popular.
Pay, absolutely. Apple Pay, the whole 9 yards. So effectively pay at that point. And the interesting thing is, whilst there are many metrics in the world, about 2,000 metrics that do this, measuring stuff and happiness and environment and whatever, right? They don't do it fast. Not because that's not fast doesn't mean good, but in a blockchain environment, if I'm at the retail shop, I can't say I'm a great person, give me 20% discount, and they go, yeah, we'll do a 2-year study and we'll come back to you.
No.
And we'll write an academic report. You've got to go, I will find out immediately what your rating is, and I'll give you that token. And I'll give you that discount now.
So how will you, how will you assign, so for example me, right, I'm a, I'm a terrible person, right? And I walk into a
I
store.
can see that.
This is
I
going
can
to
see
be,
that.
yeah, this is going to be some kind of rating system tied to me as a
Okay,
as an
as
individual, right?
something, as something. Yeah, we can
Okay.
as something. Yeah,
So that's not tied to the token, I presume, because I can trade the token. So you need like
yeah. You can
an I
trade token, correct. So there's two things going on here. You are rewarded in micro shares,
yes.
just like you could be rewarded in money,
Hmm.
but the attribute, as you say,
Yeah.
applies to either an organization, a person, a project, a product, or a
Hmm.
process.
Hmm.
And for example, if I give you an illustration, iPhone, which you wanted me to use for this, but I'm so backward I don't
Don't
have
worry.
that.
Don't worry. About
Uh,
more than half
so,
the people who I speak to don't use
don't-
iPhones. It's just my personal.
so I remember a couple of years ago when iPhone announced that they are the world's richest company.
Mm.
On the same day, they announced 32 die making iPhones in their factory, Foxconn, in China.
Right.
Now, of course, it's no coincidence they announced it on the same day
Mm.
because people go, "What? Horrific!" Oh, but I love the iPhone. It's
Yeah.
pretty.
Well, people don't
All right.
tie together these separate things, do they?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's
Yeah.
true. But here we have a phone which is made perhaps in modern slavery conditions in
Mhm.
certain situations,
Yes.
and but so it has an attribute to it that we can track. And so some of our contracts in the leather and fashion industry track, for example, the provenance of a product. Like if I say leather item, man, that was a live animal.
Mm.
That was like a living being that had a lot of non-financial value, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like an alligator will kill it within 2 years. They usually live 40 years because
Mm.
the skin is better in 2 years.
Mm.
You know, and so we track the provenance in that situation. So
Okay.
everything, organizational behavior has goodness and bad. And we go, look, this is life. Everything has good and bad. I have good and bad.
Right. Okay, so you have these attributes for, say, say Apple. Apple's
Yeah.
a company that has in this case, what we're based on this discussion, it has some negative aspects to it, such as that
Sure,
it
it can.
produces
Like
its products
all
in.
organizations do. I don't think anyone's clean.
So then you track that, you assign Apple a certain these certain qualities, and then how does that tie in with
Okay.
the
So I go in. All right. So if I say, let's give you some real example. Our wallet comes out in end of January. If I
awesome
give you an example,
awesome
you go. I don't want to shop, for example, for anything which has a score. Let's say we call it SE score, but let's say whatever score,
yeah
less than 3. Okay, I do not wish to prescribe. Matt does not want to prescribe to anything that has slavery, too much slavery. I mean, we all have slavery, but not too
right.
much. Right?
Let's minimize the slavery. Yeah.
Minimize, right? The slavery component, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes.
Yeah.
This product, that product, I can recommend this product to you.
Okay.
I can say, and then so it allows you to make informed choices
Okay.
about what you do and how you buy and how you decide and how we transact.
And this is
Effectively,
built into your wallet.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. What we try to do is attach. We all know the currency of financial value is a dollar.
Mhm.
We wanted to build the currency of non-financial value.
Right.
And although we learned how to measure it for the first 5 years, and we did it really well, effectively for laws and things,
Mm.
and the blockchain came. For us, we didn't know about blockchain. We were very late.
Well, I mean, we're all probably still early, relatively speaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we came across it in May last year, and we went, that's it.
Mhm.
That's the currency of non-financial value
Mhm.
because it's an asset like any other asset.
Yes. Well, actually, when you create an Ethereum token, you can really give it as many. People focus on the single, like how many of these does this person own or does this account own? But really, you could store any kind of. You could have
Right.
multiple. You could have multiple values. You could on one token, you could store 10 or 12 different attributes.
100%.
Yeah.
Because and people say to me, how can you have so many values? I said, well, man, we all have a rainbow of values, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love the countryside, but I don't like dogs. I like sheep, but I don't cow. Whatever. We have different values. We all contain them. And this is tokenizing it.
Well, and so one of the questions I I ask regularly when I speak to people is who is buying this token and why do they want it? So it sounds to me like one of the groups that would be buying any of the tokens that you could. Well, let's focus on one at a time. I mean, student tokens. I could see universities or university unions or whatever buying a bulk, buying them in bulk, maybe on an annual basis or something like that, and distributing
Right.
them for free to students, for example, as a
Right.
a reward, and maybe they get that money from government grants or something like that.
Well, if
Is
you
that,
look at a website called cyberfutures.net, we've
yeah.
got about 15, 16 universities already signed up.
Okay.
We've got people like Microsoft signed up, Tata, British Telecom, Informa PLC, a FTSE 100 company. I'll give you a great example. So for Informa PLC, for example, they also own Comic-Con. All right, they are big as Pearson's. They're big. So Comic-Con big in the States, right?
Very big.
So they you go to their normal kind of regular stroke boring conferences to learn about whatever, okay, and you pay a heap out, and they reward you, not just thank you very much for your fees, but they reward you in micro shares, and then you can go to Comic-Con and get in there for free and spend it.
That's cool. So do you see what I described for the student coin? I mean, is that something like okay? So the value then comes from the financial value rather, because in the end these are going to be bought for Ether or Bitcoin or whatever. So the value to the holder of this token comes from the fact that these tokens are going to be bought again and again and again by students' unions and so on. Okay. And then they're going to distribute them for whatever their values are. It's going to tie to that. Okay, I follow that.
And a company, for example, says we forget CSR, corporate social responsibility, and all that kind of old gaff stuff, And what we'll do is we will pay 2% of our stuff to our suppliers in our token, the Coca-Cola token, right? And it has our values in it. They can go and trade it in a fiat like any other place.
Yes.
Right? If they use it, it'll have some other benefits for them.
Yes.
And that way, the values of us or Unilever or Coca-Cola gets pushed. And for them, the brand is always attached to it.
Yes. And also, if there's a discount, let's say there's a discount on Coca-Cola, if you use these tokens, well, then there's a value in that. It's like people buy coupon books and stuff.
So it's attaching the brand with goodness, isn't it?
Yes.
Attaching brand with a value system.
Yeah, and really, those values are whatever you as the issuer decide to make them.
Your mic isn't working very well for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I probably covered it with my hand. Is this better?
That's better.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just saying that the value that is the
correct. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
So one of the interesting things we're doing for stuff like World Bank, UN, impact investing sector is that in that sector you got to understand that they actually award a big deal of money to all these countries around the world, but they don't measure the impact at all. So they don't know if it's successful or not. And so with Ethereum, of course, you can say, I will transact this money to you if the impact is also delivered.
Right.
Through a smart contract.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Impact, no money gets transacted.
Right. And if you disagree on whether it was delivered, then you have an arbiter or something like that, or an oracle.
Well, and of course, it's in the code, right?
So, in fact, you guys are the oracle, right? Because you measure that. In this
correct.
Code. Yeah.
Correct.
That makes sense.
So we have found unusually, we find a lot of attention to us. There was a guy whose name I forgot. He's editor of Bit News in the States, and in September he recommended only 2 tokens, and one was us. And we were really surprised. We're kind of we don't really operate like that, so we don't know all these people, and so we're getting a lot of attention. We have offices now in Switzerland, where that a lot of cryptocurrency stuff is happening.
Yes,
and we must have about, honestly, around 7 to 10 meetings lined up this month on impact investing, faith investing, So we are kind of like and this doesn't say Rolls-Royce is better than a Mustang or a Ford, but we are considered to be at the top end of the spectrum. Because our lawyers are Eversheds, which is one of the biggest firms in the world, Evershed Sutherlands. our advisors is Chandler Global, $1 billion of Bitcoin. He owns about 30 of Ethereum. So we kind of try to be quite niche in what we do. We're very focused.
And how does your main coin tie in with all these other coins that you're issuing, or doesn't it? Is it a separate?
No, it's a very good question. No, the financial value of it, the Seratio coin, is exactly the same, trades on the same as the other coins. All the coins will have the same financial component. The microshare component is going to be different.
Right.
Because that is issued by the issuer, all right?
Okay, so there's no basket, there's no relationship where they're tied, like one coin owns a part of the other or something, nothing like that. They're separate issues.
Basically, these altcoins are based on us the same way as all these altcoins are based on Ethereum.
I see.
Okay, I see. Ours is has a value system. So I mean, if we don't want values, we don't take the commission. We got a lot of people who want to give us commissions, but we say to them, look, if we're not just a financial instrument, we have to have both to make it make sense. Because in the end, we're looking for that circular economy, as you said, to get used again and again and again, not just traded as, not just on speculation. Not just sit on it, hope it goes up.
Yeah, we're in an early stage with all these ICOs looking for, and they. I think there's also some confusion about what these tokens usually are. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I mean, I can kind of consider them like the base level tokens or coins or whatever, and they are, it's a new thing, right? It's a new cryptocurrency, but a lot of the other tokens are businesses and new technologies and so on that are based on that are really almost like offering shares in a new way. Although I hesitate to say that, but. So it's a different thing. I mean, they will be. Yeah, it's a different thing, and people are confusing the two things at the moment.
They are confusing, and we kind of welcome, because we deal with premium brands and corporates. We have 83,500 members in our think tank.
Wow.
7,000 are C-suite executives. So we have some very big multinationals. So we're very careful about brand and illegal ICOs and prepare for this. So we, when the SEC said, calm down, we pulled out of America. We were halfway through. Okay, stop there. So, but we took it. We talked to the Financial Conduct Authority (FCA) in the UK, several times to make sure that we don't fall into their regime. So it's important. We actually are quite happy with regulation because, unfortunately, it is. There's a lot of scamming out there and things which it's the innocent who are usually the victims of these things.
Yeah,
the people who buy it and then the money disappears.
Unsophisticated investors, essentially.
Right. Just recently, a few days ago, I think yesterday, we dropped. We had a minimum of £1,000, £5,000 for the pre-ICO, and £1,000 for the ICO. And we had a lot of complaints from students.
Because they wanted to get in?
A lot of complaints from people who went, you're on an inclusivity agenda as well, and how can I take part? And we went, yeah. So yesterday we dropped it down to £50, which is like, what, $75? $70? Yeah. And we're now at the other end of the spectrum. We're now going, oh my God, so much headache, so many people on small amounts of investment, and they all need caring. How
are you taking in the investments though? Is it are you selling it on a smart contract?
Bitcoin? No, we do it in Bitcoin. We do it in Ethereum, ETC, ETH, and Litecoin. But we also do actual cash transactions, dollar, pound, etc.
So they're off-chain transactions, and then you're keeping a log of them somewhere, and you're gonna.
Correct.
Okay.
And because we're doing it off-chain, it means that we've given ourselves a 3-month audit, external audit, to make sure the people get the right discounts. Because if it was on-chain, it'll be easy because you go, oh, the Bitcoin, the time date stamp, I can tell you when it got into your account. But if you go into a bank account, you got to make sure it marries across.
Yeah, and if you do with Ethereum, I mean, with the smart contract, you just you don't even need to worry about it. It just
Right.
issues the tokens as it receives the payment, or it can at least.
Right.
But you've by accepting cash and so on, you've widened the scope of widened the
Correct.
who can participate, but you've made it a little bit more
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. And then, interestingly, which is surprising to us, I can tell you that the vast majority of cash we've got is from bank account.
Really?
That's unusual.
Well, I
Yeah,
wouldn't have
unusual. Huh?
expected it because it seems like a lot of people who I speak to who are not involved in crypto, they have no idea what it is. you know,
Right.
so
Agreed.
that's a
So I
surprise.
think it is a surprise to us as well.
Mm,
And I think two things that happen. One is it's fairly large amounts.
mm,
Okay, that's interesting. And secondly, it is in cash, as
mm.
in bank account, and it's. I would suggest to you that it's first-time buyers.
Wow. Well, that's
So it's
awesome. I mean, you're getting more people into the space than
right.
if you'd done it
It's because
another
they're
way.
looking for in the kind of manic markets that we're in now.
Mm,
They're looking for more people who are more established,
mm,
who are kind of working in more regulated formats.
mm,
You know, who've got some more proper lawyers in a proper place, and
mm,
somewhere you can go and talk to, and and argue with,
mm,
and so they're looking for that safety,
mm,
of where they can put their money. They want to get involved. They've heard about cryptocurrency, but they're afraid.
mm.
And so, whereas we might not be the 150 million in 12-second bank or whatever,
No, you might
all
be.
right,
Who knows?
we are but we are much more kind of a safer, stable bet, right?
Mm.
That's the kind of place
Yeah,
we're coming from.
you said Bangkok. Sorry, I thought you were going a different direction. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'd follow what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. It's also, I mean, it's great for the crypto community. I love one of, I'm not so keen on the kin token, but I like the fact that they are going to be exposed, that Kick are going to be exposing a lot of users who have no
right,
knowledge about crypto to the crypto world. So that's
right.
awesome.
Agreed,
Yeah, this
agreed.
is this is actually a really cool project. So let me try and summarize and tell me if there's anything broken in my logic, because my understanding is that the key element of this token is that you're tracking things besides besides financial value, which so you have these other things that you have developed methods of tracking over the years that you're now able to, you're storing that data essentially in a token, and
Right,
and so various institutions may wish to buy these tokens in one form or another and issue them to members or whoever as a reward for being
for
a good
customers,
student, or
staff, whatever. Yeah,
staff are kind of, those will be among the big purchases of these things that will drive the financial value. But you're trying to work mainly with organizations that do have values that you want to work with and so
right,
on. So no
right,
KKK
right.
coin will be coming out of this. So that's good.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. No Trump coin now.
Trump
That's right.
coin,
So yeah, so focus. You're absolutely right. I was
okay.
focused because we wanted a grouping. We focused it on the SDGs, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Hmm.
There's 17 of them.
Hmm.
Basically, they're all the good stuff, as you can imagine, right?
Hmm. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. Sorry, there was a momentary pause on
Sure.
my end. Yeah. Okay. So that's fantastic. So remind people one more time just where they can go.
Okay. So
To,
it can go to Seratio, Seratio
hmm
hyphen coins,
hmm
coins .world.
Not world. Yeah. And you can pay. You can buy the tokens in cash, but
In
only in the UK,
cash,
or what countries are it?
anywhere that's allowed. All
Okay.
right.
Not the
So
US, not China.
correct,
Right.
correct.
Okay.
And China may change it near the end of this month, but right now, wherever it's only is allowed,
Okay.
and you can pay in bitcoins, in Ethereum, ETC, ETH, and Litecoin,
Okay.
and in cash.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you
That's
very
really
much.
cool. All right. Well, thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
I'll just